Hello all, welcome back. This is PH Picker. I thought today I would make a video for some of the newer people out there. Um, I see a lot of people on Reddit asking a lot of questions about how to open locks, um, maybe in detail. I see a lot of people say they can open locks. They don't really understand why they're opening the lock. They have a lot of questions. Of course, I see a lot of people go, yada yada yada. Yeah, I see lockpick and lawyer doing it on YouTube all the time, or Bosnian Bill, or whoever, and they can pick it open in 3 seconds flat, but they don't really explain how they're opening it, and things like that. So I think that might deter a lot of people, and I know a lot of people have actually done tutorials just like this one, like Helpful Lock Picker, for instance. He has described this in detail, actually, so very helpful. Anyway, so this is a Sparrow's standard pin, just standard pins. It's a cutaway lock, and it's a 5-pinner. You can buy these at Sparrow's. You don't have to buy these. Just a helpful practice lock that lets you look in and see what's going on while you're picking. And this one's just a standard. You can get serrated, you can get spools, kind of get the feel for everything. And as you can see everything in here. I'll put a pick in, and you'll have to excuse me. I'm kind of doing this sideways so everybody can see pretty decent here. And this is just kind of what it looks like as you would be putting your picks through here. And of course, as you can see, we have downs, ups, and ups and downs and whatnot. But here's the key for this, and it's just a simple kind of a looking key. It's not anything simple about it, and of course it turns just like a regular key and everything. So as you can see, whenever you put the key in, of course it brings everything up to the shear line, and I think most people understand that just fine. Now, one thing I want to, and this is the biggest reason why I made this video, I want to show people if we can see the bitting on this key. And this is one thing that a lot of people don't understand, I don't think. As you're going through, now this is pin 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right there. Okay, so we have this is kind of a medium, maybe like a 3 cut. This would be a low cut, like probably a 7 or 8, let's say. This is back up to like a 2. And then we go way down here, just like this one, back to a 7 or 8 cut. And notice the very last pin is a very, very high cut, probably at a 1 cut. And the reason why this matters is, let's say, okay, you could see, let's say I'm picking 1. You could see my pick going up here. Now let's say we go to 2. You can see my pick going like that. Okay, now we go to 3, and you can see, I'm trying to get this just right. As long as I'm staying level, I might be hitting this pin with my pick as I'm going up and putting this up. Do you see that? And what that creates is right there on number 3, I'm probably going to lift that up while I'm lifting this one. The same thing goes back here, especially the farther you go back in the lock, the easier it is to do this with all the pins, because see how, the whole, or, at least half of my shaft, maybe, 2/3 of my pick shaft is down in the core. And whenever I'm lifting up on this pin, look what happens whenever I am actually lifting up on this pin. I'm hitting every other pin in this core. And when I got tension on that, what I might be doing, and what usually happens, is you're oversetting these pins. You're hitting these pins up with the pick while you're setting this very back pin, especially when they're high like that. And that's why these highs and lows really matter. Now, let's say that, a lot of people get used to not looking at keys, of course. And that's the idea. Whenever you get more of the feel, you will learn as you go along. Just like anything else, the more you practice, the better you become. And there's a lot in lockpicking that you're just going to learn with practice that nobody can really teach you. You need to get your picks in your locks and try to feel what certain states feel like. But one thing is what I'm showing today is about the way that the pin stack sets according to the key bitting. And this is a great lock, a great challenge lock, or not a challenge lock, but a great practice lock to show that, because this very back pin is set very low, as you could see just sitting here. I'm going to shine a light on it just so you can see this maybe a little bit better, because I know it's kind of hard to see. But anyway, this pin's really, really low. When I'm going to go set that pin, this pin is really high. It's almost set already before I even do anything to it. And this one's really low. And of course, I got to go back to this one before I set, or this one, whenever I'm setting this one, because it's going to have to be set for sure, because it's so low, it's going to have to be pushed up to the shear line. So whenever that happens, I'm going to be at least hitting that pin. And that's just in the keyway, just like this. And I know that's kind of hard to see, but let me stick my pick in here without even a tensioner. And you could see what happens whenever I'm lifting that pin up without a pinch. Do you see there how that fourth pin, the key pin, the very bottom pin, is already up into the Bible part of the lock. And if I got tension on that, that's going to retain there. And that is an overset. And if you also look on number 2, it's sticking up just a little bit. You might not be able to see it the world's best. Number 3 is not, but number 2 is, and number 1 is just fine. But that's just to get that up to that shear line. Now let me show you here when I do have a tensioner, what happens. Now this is a short hook, and this is another reason why you use different hooks in lockpicking. You'll use a longer hook to get to these back pins to try to reach up and under this pin to pick this without touching this one. That's why we use longer hooks, shorter hooks. The standard hook is your go-to hook, but sometimes if you can, or if you know what you're doing, or if you just experiment, you can use a longer hook and get to these back pins. But I just want to show you here what happens when I'm trying to set this. Okay, so all right, now it didn't click very good, but probably because I'm talking, I didn't hear it. But all right, I set number 5, but look at number 4. The key pin is in the Bible. It is overset, and number 3, I'm tapping number 3 right now, is fine, and it's actually set. And number 2 is springy, and number 1 is also springy. And the whole time, that the rest of the time, I'm going to be feeling that I can feel that 5 is set. It feels like it's set. Now that's something for a whole different video, the way that these pin states feel. But number 4 is really hard, and it's not moving one little bit. And that's one way to tell that you're in an overset right there on this pin right here. And then this one is springy. Number 3 is springy, as you can see. Hopefully, you can kind of see it bouncing up and down. Number 2 is also springy. And it almost feels like it's set, to be honest with you. Just barely hanging there. And so is number 3. So that tells me, and number 1's the same way. They feel like they're set, but I know they're not. So that tells me that I have an overset pin. And that's one of the hardest things to determine, in my opinion, about lockpicking, is to determine if you got an overset pin. And I believe that's something that beginners and even intermediates do more than anything else in a lock, is they overset pins. They're really easy, and that's one way to trick you into filling the locks. Now I'm taking just a little tension off. Okay, now I took enough tension off there that it dropped back down. Number 4 dropped back down. So it's fine now. But of course I can see this. You're doing this whenever you can't see, of course. And then you go back in, and I'm feeling, and number 2 still feels like they're springy. And number 3 now is the one that feels like it's binding. So I lift it up to the shear line, and my core moved just a little bit. And number 2 feels fine. And now number 1 feels like it is binding. Actually, I was on 2 there. Number 1 feels like it's binding a little bit. And there I pulled it up and I've got an open. So that's one way that people overset pins, and they don't even know it, of course, and is these back pins, or even some of the front pins. If you got a high and a low on your key, whenever you're tapping these up underneath, there's a good chance that you're hitting some of the other pins, especially the farther back you go. And let's say it's just a 4-pinner, and this one's really low, and you got to set this up. Then these, you might be tapping on these and bringing it up, and it only takes a little bit to break it above the shear line, and that will cause that cord not to rotate, and it'll cause all your other pins to feel different, and especially the pin that's overset. And as time goes by, you will learn what an overset feels like, and it's actually sometimes it's a guessing game a little bit. You will learn, and that's just one of a big part of lockpicking. So anyway, I thought I'd explain that to you today. I hope some people get some benefit out of this. Like I said, I know for sure the Helpful Lockpicker, he's got a whole school on things of this nature, and he goes through even probably in better detail than I do. But I see this so much on Reddit, and I see so many people that I think they get in their mindset that people on YouTube especially, and it's true, a lot of people just pick locks and they don't explain. I mean, in a way they're explaining if you know what you're looking for, what they're doing. Some people explain better than others. I'm no different. I need to learn about explaining stuff a little bit better, things of that nature, so people can learn better. But the more experienced pickers, they know what you're doing. They can tell, of course, and all that. But a lot of people that want to learn need some better explanation. So I'm going to link down the video down in the description, at least to Helpful Lockpickers, Lockpicking Homeschool. Check his channel out. There's numerous other people out there, if you just look, that has something to teach everyone. And of course, about all different kinds of locks. I mean, there's numerous kinds of locks, but I know most people want to start on pin and tumbler. And, that's, I'm always learning. I still consider myself a beginner, to be honest with you. So, maybe learning up to an intermediate, and I'm a blue belt picker on Reddit. So, I'm learning all the time. But so, anyway, I hope this helps somebody. I'm going to post this on Reddit. Give me a big like, thumbs up, subscribe to me. Let me know what you think in the comments section. I'd love to hear from some new pickers if this is helping them. And I'll do more of these as we go along if I get a lot of good feedback or feedback at all. So anyway, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. And like I said, if you find this helpful, hit that like and subscribe button. I'd love to hear from you. You ask me a question. There are no stupid questions. That's all we do is learn. So anyway, take care. Thank you.